very much.
And today we are going to have the first storytelling for this semester. Are you ready, guys?
Wait, Mister,
Okay.
Mister, you know that actually when it's a boring story and you read it, it's somehow not boring anymore.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy getting to be with you all and telling stories and reading stories. Is everybody ready?
Yeah, what story?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, please turn on your
Oh.
camera, guys, so Mr. Page can see your face as well.
Shall
The
we
time is
begin?
yours. Yes, you may start, Mr. Page.
Thank you. Let me share the screen so you can see the pictures. Okay. The story is The Hero and the Minotaur. It's written and illustrated by Robert Byrd. Let's begin. A Greek youth, Theseus, lifts a huge boulder, revealing a golden sword and sandals that were left for him by his father, King Aegeus. It is a sign that he is ready to join the king in Athens. On his journey, Theseus gains fame by killing 3 terrible giants who have been preying on travelers. Word of Theseus' adventures soon reached Athens. As Theseus approached the city, crowds came out to greet him. Who performs these daring deeds? Aegeus asked. Let me meet the valiant champion. Aegeus decided to honor the stranger's bravery with a magnificent banquet in the Temple of Dolphins. When the prince stepped forward to present himself, the old king recognized the sandals and the golden sword. And he knew the youth before him was his son. He welcomed Theseus with a cry of wonder and a loving embrace. The sight of their happy reunion filled everyone with joy, and the people feasted, danced, and lit altars in every temple in Athens. One morning, shortly after the festivities ended, Theseus sensed a terrible sadness throughout the city. He also saw that his father's brow was creased with sorrow. Across the sea, a powerful king named Minos rules the island of Crete, Aegeus explained. He keeps a beast called the Minotaur, a monster that is half man, half bull, and feeds on human flesh. Many years ago, Minos' son visited our city and was killed here by a bull. In his rage, Minos made war on us and threatened to destroy Athens unless we sent him a tribute of 7 young men and 7 young women every year to sacrifice to the Minotaur. The time has come again to pay the tribute, he finished bitterly. And though I am the king, I can do nothing to protect the 14 who will draw unlucky lots and be sent to Crete, never to return. Theseus, angered by King Minos' cruelty, replied, let me go with those to be sacrificed. I will slay the Minotaur and the end of the curse and end the curse that hangs over our city. Aegeus pleaded with him to stay in Athens, but Theseus remained steadfast and prepared for the voyage to Crete. The next morning, the old king was forced to bid his son farewell. In mourning for those to be sacrificed, said Aegis, your ship has a black sail. If the gods grant you the power to kill the Minotaur, hoist this white sail on your return. I will see it far out on the horizon and rejoice when you are safe. Theseus promised his father he would remember, then eagerly boarded the vessel. Many around him wept at the sad departure, but Theseus could think only of the thrilling adventure before him. The ship sailed south and soon approached the shores of Crete. A towering figure ran back and forth across the harbor entrance. What is this marvel? Cried Theseus in wonder. That is Talus, replied the captain, a senseless giant made of bronze. It moves as though it were alive and guards the harbor against King Minos' enemies. He would smash us to bits if were not for our black sail, which even he cannot recognize, which he can recognize. The mechanical man allowed the Athenians to pass him as they approached the king's immense palace, where Minos and the Minotaur were waiting for them. Not only Talus watched the ship arrive, from a bluff, Ariadne, the daughter of King Minos, stood with her friend Icarus and gazed down at the somber ship. Icarus was the son of Daedalus, a famous inventor. Long ago, at the king's command, it was Daedalus who built a labyrinth beneath the palace as a cage to hold the Minotaur. Who is that who stands so tall and unafraid on the Athenian ship? Ariadne asked. She was impressed by the stranger's confidence. That must be Theseus, son of Aegis, Icarus replied. He was pleased to be able to show off his knowledge to the beautiful princess, but he wondered at her admiration of Theseus. I have heard he freely chose to come here and face the Minotaur. Ariadne knew very well that no one had ever escaped the circling passages and corridors of her father's enormous stone maze. Gazing at the prince, she made up her mind to save him from the king's rash cruelty. We must go to your father and ask for his advice, she said to Icarus. If anyone knows the secrets of the maze and can help us rescue Theseus, it is Daedalus. The bold princess was right, for the brilliant inventor revealed to her a clever plan. That night, while the others slept, Ariadne secretly entered the king's chamber, gathered up the palace keys and Theseus's sword, and crept down to the prisoner's cell. Theseus, she whispered to him, I am Ariadne. I have heard tales of your many good deeds. I can show you how to escape the labyrinth, but in return, I ask that you help me to escape this island and my father, King Minos, who has grown wicked and pitiless. Theseus agreed to help her, and so Ariadne explained Daedalus' secret. You must secure one end of this ball of thread to the entrance of the labyrinth, she said, and keep hold of the rest of the ball as the string unravels behind you. If you defeat the Minotaur, the thread's path will lead you back out of the labyrinth. Praying that the gods would help him, she led Theseus to the maze and watched as he descended the heavy stone steps. Then she returned to the prison hold to free the other captives. In the corridors of the labyrinth, the odor was foul, the light dim. Theseus gripped his father's sword in one hand, and in the other he held the unraveling thread. The passages twisted and turned, leading him first one way and then another, winding round and round. Down, down he went, searching for the beast hidden deep in the black abyss. Finally, he came to an open space where the Minotaur lay sleeping on the rough stone floor. Its hot breath shook the cavern walls. The creature had the chest and arms of a powerful man, but the rest of his body had the shape of a bull, and two great horns grew out of his head. Then the Minotaur opened one glowing red eye and fixed it on Theseus. Its snore died away, and the chamber grew deathly still. With a thunderous bellow, the Minotaur rose to its feet and charged. Theseus leapt aside, but the deadly horns grazed his tunic. The Minotaur spun around, furious, and charged again. As the beast descended upon him, Theseus steadied himself, raised his golden sword, and with a great heave, drove the blade through the Minotaur's heart. The monster dropped to the cold stone floor, silenced forever. Shaken by the fury of the struggle, Theseus had dropped the ball of thread. Anxious to escape the gloomy maze, he picked it up again and followed the thread out of the labyrinth and into the cool night air. Ariadne and Icarus were waiting for him. The princess cried out with delight to see Theseus unharmed. "Let us waste no time in leaving. The king is sure to come after us," urged Ariadne. Theseus and the freed Athenians boarded the ship, but Icarus stepped back. "Minos will blame Daedalus for your escape. I cannot abandon my father to the king's wrath," he explained. Though it pained Icarus to see Theseus leave with Ariadne, "Daedalus and I will flee Minos together," he vowed. "Then we will join you in Athens." Icarus watched from the bluffs as the ship set a course for Athens, but he was not the only one who followed the black sail in the breaking dawn. At the harbor entrance, Talus spied the ship and raised his heavy club high to strike the boat. Theseus stepped forward with his sword, prepared to fight, but Poseidon, ever watchful, sent a massive wave smashing into the bronze giant. The Athenians watched in awe as the shining colossus, crushed into a heap of broken metal, sank to the bottom of the sea. On his voyage to Athens, Theseus forgets to change the sails of his ship from black to white. Believing that his son is dead, King Aegeus throws himself into the sea. Theseus becomes the next king of Athens and names the surrounding waters the Aegean Sea in honor of his father. The end. Very sad ending.
Didn't Theseus get exiled?
Yeah. I searched in Google too.
Yeah, and didn't Icarus die when he flew away to Daedalus?
I think it's a different universe.
Yeah, a little bit different. What did you think about the story? Had anyone ever heard that story?
When I'm reading it again, I missed some of your part.
I know the sequel and prequel, not.
I don't know.
You're not sure? What questions do you have?
Mister, can we kill Minato very faster, Mister? Because the future generation has like guns and RPGs.
I'm sorry, say again.
I have no.
Since we already have like guns and stuff, cannot we kill the Minotaur faster and easier?
Well, they didn't have guns. They only
Yeah,
had
but now,
swords.
If
Oh,
Minato-
if they had guns, yes, I'm sure it would be faster. Yes, back then it was very close contact fighting. They had to be very brave.
That was Greek mythology, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
What do you think about the story, guys?
It's similar to like
I'm reading it again.
yeah, it's similar to like all the Greek. Like you are fighting something.
Yeah. It was good that he had someone to help him when he got there, didn't it?
Yep.
What other stories do you know, Sam?
I forget the name.
I forgot that I was muted. Oh my gosh.
Yes, Tete, please.
No. I was just saying random stuff.
Anyone? The others? Is there any question?
Oh yeah, Hercules.
Okay, yeah, I know that.
I have a question. Who is the girl? Who is her father?
Let me pull it back up. You talking about the princess?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so hang on, so I'll get it straight. Because there was a lot of characters for sure, a lot of different ones. Okay, so Talus watched the ship arrive from a bluff. Ariadne was the daughter of King Minos, and she stood there with her friend Icarus and gazed down at the ship she called the somber ship because it had a black sail. And Icarus was the son of Daedalus, who was a famous inventor. And it was this inventor who built a labyrinth beneath the palace as a cage to hold the Minotaur. And so they said that they would help tell what the secret was of how to escape this maze.
Oh.
Yeah. And everyone had heard of Theseus, the son of Aegeus.
Okay.
And so he had gone there to face the Minotaur because they were tired of losing their girls to sacrifice to the Minotaur. And he said, I'm going to stop it. You know what it makes me think of? What story in the Bible does it make you think of?
Is there a Minotaur story in the Bible?
No, not exactly. But it makes me think of when of David and Goliath, when all the armies of the Philistine, the armies of Israel were all very frightened of Goliath, because he kept just being just taunting the Israelites, scaring them. And he said, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine who disrespects the Israelites, the God of the Israelites?" And he went out very bravely and slew the giant in the power of the true and living God. You know, Greek mythology, there are little g gods, not capital G. And so yeah, that was a real story. So that's kind of what it made me think of, was they were being tortured and forced to do a lot of things that they didn't want to do because they wanted to live. They were scared of the giant. And so to me, David is like Theseus, who was brave and willing to face down this giant in order to free his people, the Athenians.
Oh,
What do you think about the ending?
I don't know the ending. I missed it.
That's sus.
can you say the ending again? Because I
And
didn't
Well,
it's
understand.
kind of sus.
It's sad because you remember what he was supposed to do before he came home
No.
with
No.
the
Kill the Minotaur?
well, when he returned home, if it had been a success, he was supposed to do something with the sail. The sail was black when he sailed
Oh, you
away.
changed it to white.
Change it to white. That's right. And so he forgot to change it out. And so when his father saw the black, he thought that he had lost his son. His son had died, had been killed by the Minotaur, and he was so overcome with sadness, he just jumped into the sea and drowned.
If they had phones at the time, that would be so useful.
He could have gotten a text. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have posted on Facebook. So that's why he named, that's supposedly, that's the legend of how it became the Aegean Sea, was named after Aegeus. So that's why he called it the Aegean Sea, after his father,
Somebody is standing there.
in honor of his father.
Did they find a body?
Oh, I don't know that.
If they don't find the body, if we go there, we might see like a dead carcass and look forward.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
This story is like thousands of years ago, right?
Something like that. Yeah. That's right.
Was this before God? Actually,
Say again.
is this before God?
Nothing is before God.
No, I mean before God came to earth.
Oh, before Jesus came? Yeah, before.
Yeah.
Yes. So the earliest known versions of these myths date back more than 2,700 years ago. So it was maybe, the story of Jesus coming to the earth was around 2,000 years ago. So maybe around 500 to 700 years before Jesus came is when it was supposedly happened. Good question.
Mr. There are like only 500 to 700 years, and usually Greek mythology, like the people will grow very old. Like, how did all the Greek mythology happen? Like from Hercules to Theseus to a lot of stuff.
I'm not sure I understand your question. You're asking how long did they live, or how could they do what they did?
No, like
No,
how did a lot of generations come in that only 700 years?
No, 2,700 years.
Oh, it's 2700.
Yeah, Jesus came. The question earlier was, how was it before Jesus came? And so Jesus came to earth around 2,000 years ago. So if the Greek mythology was 2,700 years ago, then it was about 500, 600, or 700 years before Jesus. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It's not that sad of an ending. The story doesn't really make it like super sad.
Does it make it super what?
Yeah, the story doesn't make the like the feeling sad. It makes the feeling just normal.
How do you mean?
The story doesn't make the ending sad. The story just made it normal. So the story didn't make the feeling of the word sad.
Oh, well, it's just, to me, it was sad because of what happened. He wouldn't have done that if he knew his father lived, but it didn't spend a lot of time talking about all of it.
Wait.
That's just how it ended abruptly. I think that's kind of how a lot of Greek mythology stories end, is rather quickly, and it tells maybe like that's how we got the name the Aegean Sea. It doesn't spend a lot of time on that part of the story, but it's sad because he wouldn't have done that if his son had remembered to change the sail.
Wait, did the son die or did the
Because of a
father
silly
die?
mistake. And
Yeah.
why did he kill himself?
If he had an iPhone, he could have set a reminder.
Yeah.
Remind me to
Or just
change the
call.
sail. Huh?
Or just call. Anyways, reminder doesn't work for me. Maybe he can just call his mother. Hey Dad, I defeated the Minotaur. No, now don't worry about me anymore.
Exactly. We could write a comedy about it, couldn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, his dad was just so overcome with grief. That's another story in the Bible. When let's see.
Saul killed himself because everyone.
No, I'm thinking of his name is leaving me. Joseph went to Egypt, and his brothers came during the famine to get food. And his father said, bring word that, or they were going to send his youngest son. And he said, I can't bear to lose my youngest son or I'll die in my old age. And so they went to Joseph and said, and Joseph said, you must bring my youngest brother, Benjamin, I think. And so they went back, and he said, you can't, or I'll die because of sadness. Don't bring this upon my head. But they talked him into it, and he was able to do it anyway. But during that time, well, even today, there are things that make people just so sad that they're never the same. They're never, ever again the same.
My phone being gone forever. That's sad.
Yeah, well, but we don't.
That's sad. You can just restore it.
We don't have to say goodbye forever if we're followers of Jesus, because followers
How
of
can
Jesus will go to be with him in heaven. So it's just a see you later, not a forever goodbye. So that's something to be hopeful about, isn't it?
Miss, can I go to the bathroom?
Mr. Practically.
Yes, Kenneth.
What are some other questions that you have?
Nico, do you have any questions, Nico?
Why were there so many gods in the Greek mythology?
You said, why did they do that?
No, why were there so many gods?
Oh, yeah, good question. I don't know. That goes all the way back to the beginning of time, the beginning of civilization. In the Bible, it talked about that's why in the Ten Commandments says you shall have no other gods before me, and that was a problem all throughout. So I think maybe we men create gods because I don't know, you can have, it doesn't require as much faith. If you have a little statue, or if you see the sun and believe that the sun is a god, or the moon or the ocean, you can see it, and it doesn't require as much faith. And I think that it's also maybe there's no moral restrictions or code to live by. It's your life is spent just pleasing the gods, and whereas the true and living God desires to have relationship with us. And yes, he gives us laws and guidelines to live by, but it's not to make us unhappy or to keep us from things. It's so that we'll have life to the fullest. We get the most out of life when we live according to God's teachings. And so I think part of it was that, and that's one part. Another thing is, Satan is the father of lies, and he can trick and deceive a lot of people into believing those kinds of things. So I think it's a combination of things of how it happened.
Okay.
Others, Marcel, Vincent, do you have any questions or share your opinions about the story before? Have you ever thought how Minotaur was created, guys?
Human what?
An
Being
ox,
created.
an ox and a human marries each other, I think.
Hybrid.
Hybrid? Or do you think their gods created this creature?
I think that
Maybe, but
the evil, like Satan made it just to rule over the world.
Maybe so. Yeah, in the story, a powerful king, which was King Minos, he ruled the island of Crete, and Aegis explained to his son that he keeps a beast called the Minotaur. So, which was a monster, half man, half bull, and it eats humans. So it doesn't really tell us. It said, let's see, it's in the story. It said many years ago, King Minos's son visited Athens and was killed by a bull. So in his rage, the king made war on Athens and threatened to destroy them unless they sent him a tribute of 7 young men and 7 young women every year to sacrifice to the Minotaur. So the story begins with that time. The time had come around, it was each year. So it was the time of that sacrifice to pay the tribute. And so the king was very bitter because he could not protect those 14 people, the 7 girls, the seven women, 7 men that he had to send. And what they would do is they would cast lots to determine who was going to have to go. Kind of like the Hunger Games, the movie The Hunger Games. They would cast lots to see who would go play. So not a lottery you wanted to be in, for sure. So King Minos was very cruel, and so that's what it made Theseus angry, and he wanted to go and fight this Minotaur and defeat him. So yeah, it doesn't really tell us about the creation of it, but yeah, I think all of your guesses were right. But again, it's just a story. It's a mythology.
So Greek gods are not real.
That's right. They are false gods.
And the other thing, guys, do you think the king was not wise enough that for many years he could only sacrifice the young men and young boys and girls? If you were the king, what would you do, guys? How to stop the Minotaur from eating the human flesh? Do you have any idea?
Move the city.
Destroy the Minotaur because so
How?
Yeah, but
How?
yeah, how? That's
I
the
know how
point.
to
Yeah, how?
destroy.
Maybe like
Probably.
use arrows, like those kind of arrows in the movie. Archery, those things in archery.
No, this is how.
And then shoot it from afar.
why would it will not like one arrow will just not even
Not one arrow. I
Yeah.
mean, the city, I'm pretty sure there are quite some people. There are a lot of people that would like to help to kill the Minotaur that is deadly and kill many people. I'm pretty sure they want to be safe and would help. So, yeah.
But Minotaur lives inside the labyrinth.
Oh, yeah.
They
Is there
can
like a small, then is there like a small opening? Like they
I don't
could
know.
make a small opening. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Minotaur is huge because of the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Make a small opening like for each arrows and then shoot it at one so the Minotaur could die.
Minotaur can walk forward and destroy
I mean,
the wall.
it's a small opening, right? It's a small opening.
You can destroy the thing that is blocking you and the Minotaur, because the Minotaur can just smash it with its feet or hands.
What is
Do it when the
what is
Minotaur is asleep.
Well, if the Minotaur
the
is
Minotaur can
woken
the
up,
Minotaur
it can
Minotaur's asleep and you
destroy.
shoot an arrow at them, you think it's gonna wake up?
One at a time. So why do you think the father didn't like the question? Why do you think the father didn't go himself before then? Why each year did he have to send 7 of the women, 7 men?
Because he was too scared, maybe.
You don't want to die.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, if he don't want to die, why did he suicide?
Well,
Well,
by the way, it's better
He
if
was
you
still
die
guilty.
rather than you die directly. 47 men and women, they will surely die if they don't fight, right?
Of
So
course they will
why can't they so why don't they take chance anyways? If they fail, it will be the same as if they don't try.
Well, here's one thing to think about. You know, it might be easy to judge the king for not going, you know, or sooner or having bravery, because all of us get scared, don't we? We all live in fear at one time or another. That's just normal and natural. And I think maybe he just felt that there was nothing he could do. And I think sometimes we fall into this sadness and we get discouraged and we think nothing can be done. It's just it just happens. And I think about, you know, Joshua, when Moses died, Joshua was supposed to lead the Israelites and he was scared. He had followed Moses and seen Moses part the Red Sea with God's power, but hold his staff up and just do all of these amazing things. And you remember what God told Joshua? in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9? He said,
No.
be strong and courageous because I'm with you. I'll go with you everywhere you go. And so he was able to be brave because of that. And, you know, in our life, we have a real enemy. It's not other people, but it's the devil. And he uses a lot of things to
Oh,
hurt.
Mr.
And so I think one important thing is it's so easy for us to think there's so much bad in the world. What can I do? There's nothing I can do. And we be like the king. We just kind of let it happen. But I want us to be like Jesus and think, well, because, well, he didn't think about God, our God, but we can think, you know, I have power because God is with me. And, you know, the way we fight is not with swords, but we fight with love and with kindness and with prayer and with following after God's ways. Those are ways that we defeat the devil. He can't fight against that. So one lesson we can learn is that it's okay to be scared like the Father was, but we can be brave because of who we are. We're the sons and daughters of the King. Don't ever forget that. You are a son or daughter of the King. And so there's a lot of power that goes with that.
Also,
thoughts? Yes.
Fear could hold us back to even though there's an easier way or like a positive way to end it and make it better again. Somehow people just go with their souls at that they cannot think right.
Okay. Yeah.
So sadness could make us even die.
Yeah, sadness, if we let it, and anger, if we let it, can lead to bad choices and bad decisions. There's nothing wrong with sadness, nothing wrong with anger. It's what we do when we have those things that's very important, because our emotions are our emotions. They're not wrong or right. You know, God created us with sadness and happiness and joy and anger, all those things. But it's important how we handle it. And I think in sadness, it's okay to be sad, but I think we need to talk to other people and let people know and be around other people and maybe write down our thoughts and pray and ask for God's help. There's always something to do. Good. There's always good choices to make. Good thoughts.
So emotions are super strong.
Yeah, it's like the movie, Fefe, if you remember Inside Out. Do you remember that movie? Have you ever watched the movie?
What?
Yes.
Inside Out.
Yes, of course.
Great.
Many times.
What? Inside Out? I never watched that movie.
I watched it many times. It's a emotion movie. It is in the television many times. How come you don't watch it?
It's really good.
No, I never watched it.
So,
You should-
Nico,
Oh, there's
which
no in Netflix.
emotion from the movie, did you remember which emotion has the strongest power?
Sadness, maybe.
Love. I think love.
Joy or
one.
sadness.
No,
Or the happiness,
I
maybe.
think.
Vincent, what is it,
Happy.
Vincent?
I think it's happiness. Maybe. I remember, like I have
I think
watched
it
the
is
movie.
love.
Didn't
No, there's no
remember.
love.
Is there happiness or hope, if I'm not
Anger.
mistaken?
No love. Yeah, anger
Have
maybe.
you ever watched it,
maybe.
Fefe?
No, I
The
never
main
watched. So I
enemy, I think it was anger. The main enemy.
Yeah, my anger can take over.
But who
Yeah.
defeated the anger?
Happiness.
Happiness.
Sadness.
Joy.
Yeah, sadness also defeat.
Joy.
As long as I
Sadness.
remember, it's hope, because hope gives because hope encourages the others.
Wait,
Correct me if
wait,
I'm
is
wrong.
there even hope?
I remember
Yeah,
there
is
was
that-
a
is that
hand
hope?
guy. The
There
guy
is
with
there
that
is
is a hand.
disgust, anger, scare thing, and
Yeah,
then
and
there
then-
is also the joy and sadness.
Yeah.
The joy.
The
Yeah. Let's
sadness,
move
it
to
is
the
like-
next slide, okay?
Sadness
One
are
last thing, one
common.
last thing, guys. When I saw Ariadna, that was she was a brave girl that she was there to defend her father, like give the key to Theseus to enter the labyrinth and kill Minotaur. It's not easy for a child to defend or like disobey their parents, right? If your parents did something
Especially if the
wrong.
parent is the king and the one that is very cruel.
Nah,
Could kill
Pepe, if you were the princess, Pepe, what will you do, Pepe?
She
Uh,
would
I
stay.
am afraid of labyrinths. I'm afraid of mazes. Especially if there's like a monster. Cause I keep on playing Mimic.
So how you deal with your father as the king?
What?
And I don't really if I was a princess, I would probably just I don't know what I would do because I don't think I will be as brave as the princess. I am actually kind of scared of like almost everything.
She said she's scared of unalive objects that can move, like mannequins, but they can move, which is not really unalive, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, especially if that is in a labyrinth. Labyrinth there's like a lot of
A lot of hallways. If you
Yes.
run into a dead end in a labyrinth, it gives you like that feeling of hopelessness, and I don't like it.
yes.
Well, the other students, what do you think? If you were the prince or the princess, what will you do?
Then
I-
what?
city.
And
I will probably not even be as sneaky as the princess. I'm horrible at being sneaky.
so what can you do, Pepe? How to stop your
I
father
will
from
probably
being
be
cruel?
brave to just unlock the like cage but I will not be that brave to even say something to Daedalus. Who knows that Daedalus can like tell my dad and just my dad can kill me too, right?
Sam, what will you do, Sam?
If I am who?
The prince.
The prince. Who is the prince?
You are the son of the cruel king.
The son of the cruel king is. Wait, I'm
Just
confused.
pretend that your parents did something wrong. What will you do?
I don't know. My parents have authority over me, so when I say don't do that, and then like be mad, my parents be mad.
So you will just ignore and let them if they did something wrong?
Of course not like ignore, but like they have authority over me, so what should I do?
If they if you actually know if they're wrong, like for example like if your parents are like very bad people, like if they're like a thief, what should you do? If you're good, of course.
I don't know.
I mean, Minos is really cruel.
I will
and
call the
evil.
police because they have. I'll call 911. Simple.
There's no phones. If there was phone, the king will not die, even though it's not that dramatic.
Wait, it's Greek mythology. I will
Well,
release the miniature and kill them.
yeah, we can try to remind, give advice in love. Yeah, to not hate our parents because they did something wrong. Yeah, we have to be brave also to remind them in love. And also, when you want to do that, you need to pray first, ask for wisdom. How can you do that to remind your parents? That's my opinion.
Good. Yeah.
Any other things, Mr. Page, to tell the students?
I don't think so. Y'all had some really good questions. I feel like we kind of talked about some really good things. It's Greek mythology is always a little bit kind of strange because it's so different from our culture, but we can definitely see some parallels to our culture, like bravery, parents who aren't perfect, standing up for what's right, helping others. She didn't have to help Theseus, but she did, and they worked together kind of as a team. So a lot of good things that we can learn. But it's always good to read, even if things are different. It's good to broaden our minds. So I think it was a good experience, good story. So really good discussion. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Mr. Page. We also enjoyed to hear the story from you. And I think it's the end of our storytelling this time. We thank you so much for your time and also for the story.
My
We'll see you
pleasure.
again next month. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Good evening. God bless you.
God bless all of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Page.
Bye, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Mister.
All right, guys. Oh yeah, I see Kenneth already used the virtual background. Actually, I plan to do that, but
Yes.
turns out there is a change of schedule this morning that Mrs. Sil had to accompany the dancers for the recording. So I'm pretty sure that she's not in Zoom right now. Maybe you can use that virtual background later during Bahasa Jawa and for Kenya class, yeah, for the whole day later when Mrs. Sil is in Zoom. And later there will be change in the schedule. Usually after first recess is science and then Bahasa Jawa, right? We will switch. We will have math first after the first recess because we have written test, right? And then
Yay,
after second recess, we'll have
Oh,
science and Bahasa Jawa. Okay, so after this, you can go to your own classroom.
why? I
Okay,
hate. Well, math is actually not that
First.
hard because it's only
Yeah,
like
because it is just a crab and medium mode and range.
Why?
I forget
Yeah.
what is mean.
yes, average.
What is
Yeah.
what is median? Then
Median
Median
is the
is like
middle one.
the middle number, but you need to arrange it still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except is
okay.
there is two.
We will pray first and then you still have time to study again. Yeah, let us pray. Dear Jesus, we thank you for the lesson. We thank you for the story. And we will have our recess after this. Please bless us, our student training, our activities. And when we do math written class level, please give us wisdom so that we can do it well and get good grades. Thank you, Lord Jesus. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay, thank you guys for your time.
Okay, also the most powerful emotion is not love, it's anger.
Yep.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
actually
let's
it's actually
do
love
it.
search Google.
Miss, I have a question.
I have searched Google. You want me to
Mhm.
share
Mine is
screen? I will share
Oh,
screen.
mine is love.
Yes.
I search in Google and it's love.
Here, anger is the internet's most powerful.
Yeah,
Miss, I
the
have a
most
question, Miss.
powerful in the internet, but in real life.
Miss,
Yeah,
I have
Isn't
a,
the internet real life?
Miss, I have a question.
Yes, Vincent.
Do we need to do the science project live or can it be like out of that? Because I also after this I need to go to to Semarang. So like, can I like do it not in the lesson?
Let me ask
Look at
Mr.
this.
Chris first, yeah. I'll tell you later, Vincent. Now you may leave this meeting, guys. Go to your own classroom.
As for the science project, what do we need to do? I forgot.
To create a simple machine.
Oh no.